Hello, Internet. I'm Jake.
I'm Hannah. Hello.
I'm very stuffy. I don't know why. I'm not sick. I just got a stuffiness. So if I sound weird, or if I mouth breathe real heavy, it's because this isn't working. We were talking about installing blowholes earlier. There's a whole bunch of lore. Don't worry about it. So, anything we talk about is apparently lore. That's how it works. Today we're doing some Jesus things. Jesus is going to talk about divorce and then little children, which those I think they're intertwined. I don't think he's worried about kids in the event of a divorce.
No, they're separate things. Jesus just likes little kids, which I think the
Hey.
QAnon people would probably find sus, but, you know.
You'd think. Does he mention pizza?
He does not mention pizza, so he's in
Well,
the clear. You have to mention... anyone who mentions one of those popular food items on the planet
Yes.
is a pedophile, clearly.
That's fact. Except for Papa John.
No,
He's too sweaty. Kids won't go near him.
He's just crazy pizza lord.
Yeah.
I love that man.
Kids clock Papa John from quite a ways away. They're safe. It's not like he's not trying to get him. He just
If I had...
he can't.
Okay, if I wound up on a desert island
slow.
and I only had, I don't know, it's not in the top 10, it's not even in the top 100, but let's say there's 1,000 internet videos I can take with me to this island for the rest of my life.
That video?
Papa John malding and plotting revenge as like a wraith, a pizza angry racist pizza revenant. I love it. I want to see it all the time.
There'll be a reckoning. For what? It's pizza. You were a racist. They don't want whatever.
We all know the rules. If you want to make pizza, don't say racial slurs. That's the rule.
That's pretty much it. I don't know what happened. And then also, have you ever seen the blue bread that Chuck E. Cheese makes? That's also a thing you shouldn't do. It's like a dessert bread. It's awful.
Let me look. Hold on. I got to Google this real quick.
Blue. Yeah, it's blue. It's just blue. Blue Chuck E. Cheese bread. It's like a dessert thing. I don't even know how to... oh, there it is. Bottom left. Volfu menu. It's... I'll try to show the people.
Oh, this looks exactly like the kind of thing I'd like when I'm in an arcade hopped up and I'm 6 years old and I don't know what food should taste like.
It doesn't show up on my my picture of it that well because it's pretty low level here. But
yeah,
they put metallic sprinkles in the frosting.
Do you see
and
the
something
thing
about that really
it?
grosses me out? Yeah, the cookie pie thing. You'd fuck with that.
Yeah, it looks awful. It looks like
really.
It looks like,
that's something I could definitely see you crushing.
Oh no, it looks like how do I put this? No, I was gonna compare it to like the food in the movie Hook when they're in that scene and it's all colorful. But like this looks like
it actually does look. The whole thing together in one picture looks like Captain Hook, or I guess Peter
Lost
Pan,
Boys.
Peter Pan, Lost Boys, Robin Williams, imaginary food. Yeah. Okay.
Just colors that food shouldn't be all together with various sugary.
Yeah, no, it looks terrible.
things.
Anyway, that will also lead to pizza bankruptcy. That's the really long point that I was trying to make, but
okay.
we got hung up on the blue. Anyway, none of that.
Did you know
what? Okay, fine.
One more point, and
sure.
then this is gonna
one
be
more
a
point.
episode.
Yeah, definitely a point that we're making.
Chuck E. Cheese has started naming on like places like DoorDash and stuff. They started naming their pizza place a different thing, so people actually order pizza from Chuck E. Cheese and don't realize.
It's actually been a while since they've done that. Maybe a couple months at this point, maybe longer even. But Pasquale's Pizza and Wings.
I thought about, for nostalgia, getting a Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
I don't remember Chuck E. Cheese pizza. I remember the animatronics. I remember as a kid. This is another tangent. Doesn't matter. Chuck E. Cheese episode. We do what we want here. I remember I was in Chuck E. Cheese one of the few times I ever went, and because I didn't really care for it, and I remember Chuck E. Cheese, the mascot. He went into the bathroom, and I was like, I'm gonna go meet Chuck E. Cheese. So I followed him into the bathroom, like sneaky. I waited a bit. I went in there, and he was gone, and I couldn't figure out why. A man walked out and just left, and I was looking. And I'm like,
where did he leave?
Where the fuck did this guy? I think my little child brain must have deleted where he was, like a duffel bag or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But he clearly took it off. Unless they have like a secret Batman-esque compartment, like, and it just folds out of the wall. That'd be dope. But yeah, he went. They had like a big stall, and he went and like changed, obviously. But yeah,
okay.
For years, I would tell that story, like kindergarten up to like middle school. I'm like, where the fuck did he go? Probably not middle school, but yeah, elementary school. And I'm like, just the dumbest ever. And none of my friends could be like, whoa, where'd he go? Don't know. No logic there. Kids are stupid. That's why you shouldn't let seductresses like Papa John near them. Okay, let's read the Bible. Which is the weirdest grouping of sentences anyone's ever said.
Today we're reading about divorce. Did we already say that?
We should get divorced from ourselves. That's what we should do. Divorce me from my thoughts. Okay. Divorce. Matthew 19. I'm dying. When Jesus had finished saying these things, whatever the fuck he was saying, no one knows. There's no way of checking this. I'm too lazy. He left Galilee and went into the region of Judea to the other side of the Jordan. Large crowds followed him, and he healed them there. Wow, he has got groupies as fuck. He's like Johnny Silverhand. No? Cyberpunk?
No.
Nobody? Could you even get to that point? Some Pharisees came to him to test him. They asked, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any and every reason?" Wait. I know this is like framed as a test, but I also like to be like, are they sussing out like legal recourse for their shitty wife? You know, like King Henry. You know what I mean? Where he basically changed the rules so he could fuck his mistress.
Yeah,
was it King Henry? I think so.
I don't remember which one was the head choppy off one because he wasn't getting boys. But the way I worded that made it sound like he was hoping for secret femboy wives, and then he wasn't getting them, and he'd cut their heads off.
That's what I took out of it. You meant sons, okay. I think.
Yeah, I meant sons.
Yeah, but no, it didn't sound like that. It sounded like Papa John shit.
I don't know. Jesus, I feel like Jesus is going to be against no-fault divorce because women don't have agency and they're not allowed to make money.
That might be right. That might be right. Haven't you... And also, the Eve. Still got to talk about that. Haven't you read, he replied, that at the beginning the Creator made the male and female... and said, "For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So they no longer are two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate." Okay. So what if he punches her in the face? What if she punches him in the face even? Men's rights activist?
Let no one separate. This is actually a thing that gets quoted in some like wedding ceremonies. What God has put together, let no man tear asunder, I think is the like King James version. Probably. So you've probably heard it somewhere.
It's probably
flashy. Yeah, it's interesting to talk about this because compared to nowadays, of course this is like unethical for a variety of reasons. Sure. You should be able to leave your spouse for any or no reason if you're just not feeling it anymore. It's sad when that shit happens, if it's like one person and the other one is still like all for the relationship. But on top of that, of course, you also have situations of abuse or whatever it happens to be. But it's interesting to think about because back in the day, when this was written, women literally like weren't allowed by society to take care of themselves. Yeah. So this is effectively an insurance policy on them being able to eat food and not die.
I like how progressive Jesus is. Not so progressive that he'd be like, well, we could let them be equal citizens. But definitely progressive enough to be like, well, it's safer for them to be owned by a man. So we'll ensure that. It's very similar to that PragerU video. Did you watch it? The one where the slavery one?
Yeah, where they were like radical abolitionists.
Robert E. Lee was like, they're better under slavery than they are back in Africa. And it's like, they had homes and stuff? Like, what?
Yeah, it's frustrating seeing someone recognize a problem. Clearly, like, whoever the character of Jesus was, or whoever ended up writing this, like, recognized, okay, women are basically screwed in our society if they don't have someone to take care of them because they're disallowed from participating in the economy, right? Yeah. They're disincentivized and not allowed to go out and do things for themselves. But instead of recognizing that and saying, like, we should let people, like, regardless of their gender, go out and be productive if they would like to.
Well, we call them females here in Matthew chapter 19. So I mean,
but instead, right. All-knowing, all-seeing God of the universe is like, just don't let them get divorced. Just no divorce under any circumstance.
Weird that God invented marriage in general.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he want the man to, I don't know, fertilize his fields or whatever?
Is that a euphemism?
Well, yeah, because women in the Bible are basically just ovens.
Okay.
And he's making
ovens.
And he's making the dough.
They're like an arcane vessel to create a flesh golem out of cum.
Babies are flesh golems. Canon.
Yeah.
Okay. So it goes on to say, why then, they asked, did Moses command the man to give his wife a certificate of divorce and send her away? That's true. Ooh, interesting. Pwned with facts and logic? Let's find out. Jesus replied, Moses permitted you to divorce your wives because your hearts were hard. But it was not this way from the beginning. I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, and marries another woman commits adultery.
So basically...
So only she can have sexual immorality, though. Right?
Yeah. Oh, does that cut both ways, or the men allowed to cheat on their wives, but the women aren't?
Well, you can't divorce and marry another woman, but it doesn't say anything about unless there's sexual immorality.
You know what? Women probably just are disallowed from divorcing their husbands altogether. The husband probably
100%.
gets to decide if they're having a divorce or not.
Right. Yeah. That's up. Yeah.
So you hear that, folks? If you got divorced and it was amicable and you both were just like, hey, it just didn't work out. I'd rather, be friends or whatever.
How it works.
No, you're committing adultery according to the Lord, and you will burn in hell for eternity for making a responsible adult decision with another responsible adult.
Yeah, every Catholic knows that already. You don't have to tell them twice. The disciples said... Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, I do want to point out, like, this is... We're joking about it, but this sort of thought process is really, really, really destructive to a lot of people. For instance, my parents are, like... Who I don't really talk to anymore.
Are they still together?
Yes.
Wow, I actually thought that ended.
It was for, like, the 5th time.
Right, that's what I thought. So
they always end up back together because they're codependent alcoholics. Anyway... So, anytime, I'm not going to say specifically whom, but one person in the relationship ends up trying to leave, and they do so once every year and a half or so. They're always like, this time's the time, and then they never follow through on it for a variety of reasons. But, like, part of it, I know I've talked to them about this, and they've said, they religiously were taught that this is not okay.
Right.
You're not supposed to get divorced because it's not okay according to the Bible. This gets cited by a lot of religions about, like, hey, it's not cool. Right. So it's just...
Is alcohol dependency?
What?
Is alcohol dependency fine, or... like, and all the other stuff? Like,
at what point in the Bible does God say, don't drink a bunch?
I think in Proverbs there's specifically, I mean, it's Proverbs, so it's not like commandment, but I'm pretty sure they're like, hey, don't drink too much. It's usually like young man, so you don't get seduced by devil women, but sure. I mean, we can still apply just the first part.
Did Jesus ever say, thou shalt not get 2 DUIs?
No, but Jesus did say, thou shalt have a breakdown when people move things in your house. That was still one of my favorite things we've ever done to a person. So, Jesus replied, "Not everyone can accept this world, but only those to whom it has been given, men. For there are eunuchs who were born that way." Was there like, I was born with a dick and no balls pandemic going on back then? Or does he mean, when they mean eunuchs, do they mean men not interested in having sex with women?
I'm not sure, actually.
Because this is fascinating.
Sure.
There's because at first it's funny, just like there's a bunch of super straight men walking around, and I got no balls. I was born this way, which isn't a thing that ever happens. But a group of people who are eunuch, like they might as well be eunuchs. Interesting that the God of the universe, the creator of all, and a being that knows all things, in a person, doesn't understand that maybe people just flow a different way. Maybe they're ace, maybe they're gay, maybe they're just not interested in women. Maybe they're
I don't know.
Fascinating. And then there are those who are made eunuchs by others, and there are those who choose to live like eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. The one who can accept this and should accept this. I've never thought about how often eunuchs are used as a euphemism for specifically gay men, but I wonder how many of them. Like, that's fascinating. I've never considered how that might run into gender or sexuality.
Yeah, I'm wondering how prevalent the understanding was that some people were. I mean, I guess I don't understand what the
right. I'm
conception of homosexuality was from the Hebrews around this time.
I can't imagine they liked it because it came out in the wash, so to speak, in the New Testament. So
sure. Also,
and one shall not lay with a man, a little bit of like Leviticus and stuff. So I mean, like they knew homosexuality was a thing, and they didn't like it.
I know the Greeks were pretty into the gayness.
It may play a part in why they weren't for it.
I was going to ask, how were the Romans with homosexuality? Romans were even
opener. Well, more open. So usually you'd have a husband or a wife, and then it was, if you were middle or upper class, it was understood that was like a business relationship. And actually, women, progressive as it may sound, it wasn't that progressive, but it was kind of, I mean, definitely for the time. Women often ran the businesses in Roman society, and men were more politics. And then so women were like girl bosses. But they also had like boys. Well, men, maybe boys. I don't know. But, well, maybe they had women. I have no idea. It's not often mentioned they have women. But, and then the men could have either, definitely. And it was sort of understood that that's just like where you get where you get it out. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'm wondering if that had any influence on
I guarantee
people of this time seeing homosexuality. I mean, a lot of cultures have seen homosexuality as immoral for one reason or another. Yeah, I think a lot of it probably stems from, it's nowadays it doesn't matter because we have enough people on the planet as it is. It's not a big deal. But when you're in a society that's basically subsistence farming.
Yeah, any agrarian society. I mean, we did this fucking 2 generations ago. They had a bunch of kids just for farms.
If you're not making more farm hands, you're not being productive for that society for whatever.
Same reason that chattel slavery was so heinous is, forced procreation than just the ownership of naturally procreated individuals. But what was I going to say? I don't know how Judea specifically acts because it's far enough away from Rome that they could have totally different culture. Like think Louisiana to New York. Similar thing you got going on there where you have you're under the same banner, but are you the same people? Kind of not really. Although we're much more connected, obviously, now than we were. But I would not be surprised at all if there was rhetoric coming from people like the Pharisees, people like Jesus or whoever is the Jesus myth person, or people, where those pagans and they're another religion, and they're not pure, and they don't like have these very strict rules about their religious belief. It's a very man-made belief. I wouldn't be surprised if they use their sexual immorality as a part of a punditry, so to speak. This finishes with, and there are those who choose to live like eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. The one who can accept this should accept it. And that's really the end of it. I don't know why I didn't finish that last sentence before we did all the other stuff. But so that's divorce. Can't do it. You can chop your balls off and go live happily in a monastery. There you go.
Great.
So next up, we have the little children in Jesus, which is two sentences? 4. Sorry. Then people brought little children to Jesus for him to place his hands on them and pray for them. See, Papa John, this is if you want to, this is definitely more the route to go. They can smell the alcohol, like the Jack Daniels is coming out of your pores, Papa John.
He ate a whole pizza every day.
Yeah,
so...
and he's sweating the cheese. It's awful. I thought we liked cheese. I have never had cheese come out of me like that. Nuts. But the disciples rebuked them. Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." When he had placed his hands on them, he went on from there. So what does that mean?
He did the laying on of hands, and then he moved on.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, I didn't know if there was something I'm missing.
No.
Okay, shout out, kids.
It's just like, hey, kids, right on. Jesus likes kids. Jesus likes little children.
This is when you kiss the black baby for the photo op.
Sure. Go.
That's how you do that. It's very polite. Kissing babies is weird. Don't give your children to other people that you don't know.
No.
Especially in a pandemic.
If I was a politician, I'd be like, why? Why do I want to kiss your baby? It's a gross baby.
Yeah, I don't want to kiss my baby. What? Ugh. Awful. I don't know where you put that thing.
I've never understood people who talk about like baby smell or new baby smell.
It smells different, like a car.
I think it's weird. But I do wonder if it would be any different now that I'm on hormones. If I would it would smell different to me. Does that make sense? I don't know.
I wonder if it would spark your fast twitch lactation.
Oh God!
Because that happens with usually it's women that are, I believe. Wait. I think it's when pregnancy or periods are happening. So it's not like
I haven't had
what?
Lactation can be a side effect of hormones, but I have not had that at all, luckily. I don't need any more fluids coming out of my body than I already do. So.
Bodies are literally just holding back the tide of fluids. That's all these
That's
are
true.
for.
We're a bag of fluids.
The only reason we push out is the fluids trying to get out. Anyway, so next time we'll see how fluids interact with the rich and the kingdom of God. It may or may not. Can't tell you until we get there. We're also doing an Ask Hannah on Friday, so that's tomorrow, I think, if you're watching this now, current. Doesn't matter. And then we're going to be doing, I think, next week. Is that what we decided to do it next week? Or the week after? Somewhere after this, we're gonna do a movie. We're gonna do a movie at some point.
Okay.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. And it's not gonna be fun. It's gonna be a terrible movie, but that's okay. Anything else? Anything we have to?
I'm just thinking about the fact that fluids? I'm a bunch of fluids coalesced in meat. I'm being held together with meat.
Yeah, and the fluids are only there to keep the meat moist.
I want to shed my meat. I want to return to fluid. Fuck this return to monkey shit.
Return to fluid. Hashtag return to fluid. What fluid would you like to be, chat? It has to be one of your bodily fluids. Pick one. Which of the fluids within you would you most want to be? Because that's what you are, pretty much. I'm thinking eyeball fluid. No one ever talks about eyeball fluid. Like the inside of it, not tears. Whatever's in there floating around. Seems very specific. Eyes are just like water balloons. Everyone knows this. So, that's biology. Don't look it up. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back doing more of the good stuff very shortly. For us, it's now! We're doing it now!
Links in the description for all our other stuff.
Yeah.